Hi everybody, this is Brian with the Instructional Technology Coordinator team here in the School District of Waukesha, and I am doing an updated video on QuickTime and how to record using QuickTime on your Mac. So let's go ahead and get started. The first thing to note is that QuickTime already comes built into your Mac. You don't need to go and download anything. To find QuickTime, you're going to go into your Launchpad. That's one way to get there. And you'll be able to either search for it. When you finally do find it, I encourage you to drag it down to the dock and drop it. That way it'll stay in your dock moving forward. We'll get out of the launch pad here. So now that I have QuickTime up and running, I'll tell you the next thing that you'll want to be aware of is that QuickTime does require some privacy settings and system preferences. So you'll need to run it the first time and it may feel like it's not working quite right. That's okay. Here's what you need to know. In system preferences on your Mac, there's a security and privacy area. When we pull up the security and privacy area, we're going to click on the privacy tab. And under camera, you'll want to make sure QuickTime Player is selected. Under microphone, you'll want to make sure QuickTime Player is selected. And under screen recording, you'll want to make sure QuickTime Player is selected. You may need to run QuickTime the first time for these to be options, but once it's running, if things aren't recording properly, this is where you'll need to go to fix that. When I start QuickTime Player, it doesn't look like much has happened on the screen. But up at the top, you'll see QuickTime Player in the File menu. That's when you know QuickTime is selected and working. If I select off of it, it'll look like nothing has happened again. So you'll need to click QuickTime Player to get started. Now, you've got three options. You can do a new movie recording, which will use the camera on your computer and the microphone on your computer to make a movie of yourself. You can do an audio recording, which will use the microphone on your computer so that it'll send out an audio file. And the last, most commonly used, is new screen recording. That's the one I'm going to show here. When I select New Screen Recording, you'll see that I have this little gray bar that appears down here. I've got some options on it. These are for screen capture. So I'd like to capture just a shot of a particular part of the screen. These two are your video options. Record an entire screen or record a selected portion of the screen. So you'll see here that I can drag this window around and anything that is visible within that window is what will be recorded. Or I can select the entire screen and record from there. And finally, your options. This is important especially if it's your first time. Under the microphone section, you'll want to make sure built-in microphone is selected unless you use some other sort of microphone setup. We can also tell it where to save. For instance, I want it to save to the desktop. Okay. Now, we're going to go and get started with a quick recording. So I'm going to drag onto the screen here what I want to record. Doing a quick lesson on the Les Paul Monument here in Waukesha. I grab my recorder, file, new screen recording, and you can see I really only want a certain portion of the screen here recorded. So anything that's in this window right here is what's recorded. I'll be able to move behind that, but that's how we go to get started. And we're running. So then anything that I do on screen is what's going to be recorded. We'll just drag out our little guy here. So here's a chance for me to explain something that's a unique part of Waukesha's history in the Les Paul Memorial. And then when I'm done, at the very top of the screen, I'm going to be looking for an icon that looks like this, a circle with a black dot in the middle of it. I'm going to click stop, and it's going to pull the recording forward for me. Now what do I do to get it out? What I'll do in this case is I'll do File, Export As. It depends on the quality of the recording that you need, but 480p works for me. I'm going to decide where I want to do this. So I'm going to do the Les Paul Monument sitting on my desktop. And once it's done saving and exporting it, I can drop that into YouTube or anywhere else that I might need it, including Blackboard. So a great way to share instructional videos with somebody using QuickTime and the screen recording feature.